Welcome to the Fineprint.
Welcome, welcome.
My name is Ty Davis.
I'm Manji.
And it's your girl, Felly.
And welcome to the Fineprint, where we discuss, honestly, topics of interest, things that inspire us, and things that uplift us, and how to implement those in our daily lives. So, yeah. Starting off today, we're going to always start off with our Get Me Bodied section of this, where we start off with a mantra to really get us in the mind frame that we need to be in. We're all about uplifting and living our best lives to the fullest.
Yes.
So last week, we discussed the mantra of I am. This time we're going to include just a few more words in it. So this mantra this week is going to be I am capable of. You can put whatever you're capable of in this right here. We're going to do a quick meditation of honestly, like about 15, 30 seconds, where we just really breathe in and breathe out and just really just ground our affirmations. So what is it that you're capable of this week? What is it that you are capable of doing this week? What is something that you have wanted to be capable of doing? Because that's what mantras are about, is, like I said, living our best lives and to bringing those things into existence. So this week, I am capable of completing all of my goals.
Ooh, yeah. I am capable of performing on the piano in front of others.
Got you.
Yes.
I am capable of success.
Love it. So these are all broad things. So when you do anything where you're capable of, success can be anything. If you're in the gym and you want to be capable of being in the gym 2 days a week, success. If you want to be capable of meal prepping or just cooking your own meal 1 day a week at home, success. If you're capable of just sitting down and watching 1 full season of the Umbrella Academy, success. Like whatever it is you want to be capable of, as long as it's better in your life, that's what we're here for. So really, really bring that into your existence. Bring it into your mind. Have a really, really clear vision of it. And what I want you to do is breathe in for 4 seconds, and we're going to breathe out for 4 seconds. We're going to do this in 3 cycles. So in for 4 breath, in for, out for 4 counts. In for 4 counts, out for 4 counts, in for 4 counts, out for 4 counts.
Nice.
It's going to be about 12, 15 seconds. You can at least take that time out of your day to really, really love yourself. If you can't love yourself, how are you going to love anybody else? So.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. So think about what you're capable of doing. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in for 4 seconds for the last count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 4 seconds for the last count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you breathe out this time, really, really think about what it is you're capable of doing this week. Really, really just manifest it. Really have a clear vision of it. And just tell yourself you're capable of doing it. Awesome. Thank you. And that's the segment of Get Me Body.
There you go. And hope your breath wasn't funky. And you had
Definitely hope your breath wasn't funky, girl, for those 12 counts.
I'm capable of having good breath.
I'm capable of having some Listerine.
Right? I'm capable of having some Listerine.
Or some gum.
Right? I'm capable of having a mouthwash budget.
Okay.
I was sure thinking about that, and I was like, I hope I'm not killing them. No, I'm saying. No, I'm good.
Well, we're good. We're during the pandemic, so we got our little mask and stuff sometimes. You know, we good. We trust each other. We've been around each other long enough. I don't think we get the COVID from y'all.
All right, exactly.
So the first segment is Topic Like It's Hot. And
Topic like it's
okay,
hot.
Topic Like It's Hot.
Hey.
Okay. This topic this week is how to navigate starting over. And I feel like this is a relevant topic because a lot of people are starting over right now in the pandemic. A lot of people have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
I know a lot of relationships have been stressed during this time. And some people are starting over that way. And starting over is a good thing if you look at it that way. I've started over so many times in my life. I feel like I'm a start over pro.
You're a Phoenix. You are a Phoenix.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. You graduated to Phoenix.
Rising Phoenix.
So you can start over on purpose, like you can do it intentionally, or you can just like the pandemic, just like, okay, you just got to start over because like you just got furloughed or you lost your job. It just can happen just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But if you look at it as kind of like, a project to work on, you can do it, at a good, efficient way instead of just like going crazy and like some people, self-medicate when things are starting over. You can kind of like look at it as something that I can do this, I can get through it, The first thing that I always do whenever I start over, like last year I moved to a completely different city. And then this year I moved back.
Hey!
Welcome back.
Okay, I'm back, y'all. But,
Open arms.
Okay. But it's like starting over all the time, and like whenever it happens, I'm like, okay, I need to reset. Like I need to just like sit here, look at my new surroundings, what's going on, like how do I fit in this, and where do I need to go? So it's just like taking that time to kind of like breathe and kind of like ground yourself, and not just rushing off and trying to do something or trying to make something happen. Just really taking the time to kind of like evaluate, what's going on and where you are, so you can get to the next step. I think it's really important to kind of like just sit there and be like, okay, this is where I am. It's okay. Things are going to be good.
Yeah, just taking inventory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely check in. But first and foremost, what made you make your transition? Was it relationship stuff? Was it just personal things? Why did you think you needed to make the transition first and foremost?
Moving back?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a longer story. We can get into it in a different podcast. But there was just like connecting with last week's episode, I really listened to my intuition.
Beautiful.
It was really loud. Like this wasn't an intuition where sometimes it's a whisper, like, oh, maybe you should move back home. Yeah.
It's more like move back.
Girl, you need to go
now.
home. Like it was one of those. It was, girl, you need to go home. But there was a lot of things that went into it, like the pandemic was happening, and I was away from kind of like what also is one of the steps in navigating is my support system.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I had one of my really good friends out in Colorado, but I wasn't close to family and other friends. I kind of like felt alone.
Yeah.
And all of these things were happening, so I wasn't in the right mind space. And I knew I was gonna like entering kind of like depression and like being sad, and I didn't like the job that I was doing.
Yeah.
And
so it's just a lot of things to the equation,
Right.
lots of things that people are going on right now,
Exactly.
jobs
Similar
you hate,
things, yeah.
transitions, moving to like a new place, like being able to find yourself, support systems, like everything that everyone's going through right now.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I listened to myself. I was like, okay, this isn't going to work for me. I need to be home at this moment, especially with everything that's going on. So I just listened to that, and I just came home. I didn't even question it. At first, I did question it, but I was like, I'm gonna just listen and go home.
Which I applaud you for that, because it is hard to start over, because you think about not just taking that first step, but you think about all the consecutive steps afterwards.
Exactly.
And so that sometimes in and of itself is just an obstacle. So I applaud you for that, Monty. That was a huge thing that you did, and listening to yourself and trusting your gut. And being like, you know what? I have to start over. I have to do it. Again. A year later.
Exactly.
But sometimes that's what it takes. That's life's journey, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
We always learn something from every journey we take, and yeah, definitely applaud you for it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it kind of goes into the next step is kind of like being honest about the past and being honest about how did I get here?
That's
and
the most
why am I
difficult
here
part.
how did I find myself here again? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm here again. It's like, what decisions did I make that got me to this point?
Yep.
And how do I not make those same decisions again?
But that's all about growth, and that's all about you really trying to take just the time and the initiative to be the best version of yourself as possible, because what it comes down to is just being really honest with yourself and just really being like, how did I get here? What brought me to this point? And then also honestly wanting to change. That's the biggest thing. Sometimes people don't want to change because they think it's going to be too difficult.
Yeah.
But I think for us, we're very malleable individuals. Like we adapt really well because we've always been forced to adapt.
Right.
But for other individuals that have grown up in the same place their entire lives, with the same family, with the same social norms that they've always had, and trying to make transitions, it's a little bit more difficult, But just know that we've been through enough. So you got it. If you want to move out your city, girl, girl, move. For real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can definitely make it. Just be strong, and honestly, just have faith in yourself. And that's what it comes down to.
Trusting
Bonjour, you
yourself.
have lots of faith in yourself. You have lots of faith in your capabilities. You have
Yeah.
tons of confidence when it comes to who it is you are as a person, and also who it is you want to be and whatnot. Like, look, first of all, I don't think y'all know. Bonjour, he's only in his 30s. He had a job for 25 years, girl. For real. Literally, he told me, he was like, I've been working this place for 25 years, girl. I was just like, how is that possible? You would have been 5 years old, but he is like literally career-oriented, very, like longevity is like his
Yes.
jam. So
Yes.
definitely applaud you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also, like,
Always being on top of it.
I'm not afraid of. I think, like, a point you were making, like, some people are afraid to try new things,
Yes.
are afraid of getting out of the box.
Never.
that
Never be afraid.
That's how you grow. Like,
That's how
I was
you
like,
grow.
I want to go to a new level. I want to be on a
Absolutely.
level I've never been before. And to be on a level that I've never been before, I'm going to have to try new things.
Yes.
I'm going to have to
Yes.
be afraid.
Yep.
I'm going to have to, like, be uncomfortable,
Yeah.
And that's just part of life. You have to be uncomfortable, being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I think fear and uncomfortability
Yes.
actually means that you're doing something right, because if
Exactly.
you aren't venturing out and doing something new for yourself in order to grow, and you aren't afraid or a little hesitant or a little just, you have like your kind of reservations towards doing it because you just don't know what will happen, like, then you aren't doing it right. That fear and you just having stress or just being angsty about it or not being confident in yourself, that's what helps you grow. And like the same thing, like I've had tons of opportunities where I've been like, hey, we're gonna start this new business. I'm gonna quit my job tomorrow. We're gonna do it. And be like, you are the dumbest bitch ever, baby. You just left such and such. But it was that fear that literally was like the driving force. So yeah,
Yep.
fear's good. Definitely have fear.
Fear is good,
Yep.
and starting over is good.
Yeah, and I think Will Smith was like a quote of his, or he said it, maybe it's like he goes into the direction of his fear.
Of course.
Like when he's like
Yeah.
afraid, that's where it's like, okay, I need to go this way.
Yep.
And like a lot of people run from it, but it's like he just runs towards it.
I do
Yeah.
that with my fear of heights, and I do indoor rock climbing. Mm-hmm. And the whole time as I'm going up that wall, even though I'm strapped in, my heart rate is through the roof. People are like, wait, you're afraid of heights, but then you're
It's so
doing what?
funny you said that.
So I
Yeah.
I go in the direction of my
Yep.
fear so I can attempt at conquering it. I don't know if I
Exactly,
ever
yeah.
do, but at least I can manage.
You won't be as
I
afraid
can
of
work
it.
through it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I did the
not
same thing
debilitating.
when I went skydiving.
It
I
was
was like,
not so debilitating. Exactly.
yep. Horrible heights. Horrible. Hate them just like you.
Yeah.
Skydiving didn't fix it, but moving to top floor, I'm not afraid of anything anymore. But
Yeah.
I'd be on
Yeah.
ladders, I'd be waving at people on the little windowsill. I'd be good. So you just gotta conquer it, boo boo, because you be good. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anything you can free yourself of. Yeah.
And it's applied in all aspects of life, personal as well.
Cause I thought about it in weird ways too. I was like, what if my mama was on like the top of a mountain? And I was like, I was afraid. I was like, Mama, you're not gonna get saved. Oh, baby, I'm saving my mama. So we're gonna have to get over it.
Work through it.
Yeah, work through it, boo boo.
By the time you get there, it'll be worth it.
But yeah, also part of starting over, you don't want to just like, just take time to reset and just stay in that where you're at. You want to create an action plan. Okay, I'm here.
Always action plan.
I know
Yeah.
why I got here, the decisions that made me get here. Let me not do those again, but let me create an action plan of where I want to go.
Yes.
And have like, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. And literally writing it down like brings it kind of like more kind of like tangible instead of
Yeah.
like, because I keep a lot of things in my head, and like actually writing it down just like it's very like relieving, but also brings it more like to fruition.
It also keeps you very accountable too, because when you see
Yep.
the own things that you yourself right, you have no option but to fulfill those things, because when you don't, you let yourself down.
Right.
So when you have tangible goals that are actually written down, you can manifest those a lot easier, because they're literally in there and you can look at them every day.
You can
and be
see
like,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta do this. So I love that.
Okay, what am I doing today to get me towards that goal? Like it's like even like little steps,
Yep.
If you're
Yep.
like writing a book, I want to write a book in the next year. It's like, oh, let me just write a page today.
Just
you know,
done. Yeah,
It's just
baby steps. It's always
one
baby
small
steps. Yeah.
step every single day towards
Yep.
that goal or that you want to get to.
Yep.
Small steps and consistency,
What
like
I
you said
do-
last podcast.
Exactly. Yep. What I do is I break it down into like every day what I can do, and then I break it into like monthly or even quarterly. And then so then that way I can like track my
Right.
progress. Like for example, if it was like a book or something like this,
Right.
like, you know, a larger project.
And then you can like celebrate those little goals. It's like, oh
course.
my
Yeah.
goodness, like I wrote a chapter. Let me celebrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely,
You always want to
yes.
celebrate
Always
yourself.
celebrate yourself.
Okay.
If you just wake up one morning, you just wrote 6 words. I wrote 6 words, done. You know, 47,000 more to go, but we got 6 words. So we're going to celebrate that.
I mean, and it's oversimplified, and there's, of course, you know, there's like writer's block, and there's always, you know, strenuous situations, but just in general, just like as far as like achieving goals, it's just like not being hard on yourself and just trying to just keep at it.
Keep moving forward.
Keep
It's all about moving
pushing
forward.
and keep moving forward. Even when it looks like to somebody else that you're taking a step back. Sometimes, you know, especially when you're doing something creative, you have to take a step back from whatever it is you're creating and then get back into it. And
Absolutely.
that's actually still moving forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes as individuals, we may not even have the tools to be able to implement. So sometimes we need to ask for help
Yeah.
Right.
from other people that are way more capable of doing it, because one, it makes our lives a lot easier. But at the same time, it also establishes bonds. It establishes collaboration, it establishes community. And then if they're much more capable of doing it, why would I want to share this experience with them?
Yeah.
But we'll get on sharing and asking for help on the next episode. Because that's
There
also
you
a
go.
big one.
That is a huge one, definitely.
And that leads to my next point is like getting a support system.
Yes.
You always want to have like a support system that's
Yeah.
going to be there for you and support you and help you like when you feel like you can't do something
Yep.
or if you feel like you need help, you need to talk to somebody. And I know that's a big one for me because I'm kind of like a lone wolf where I want to do everything by myself and like not ask for help. And one of the things like it just adds more stress to myself
Of course.
and trying to get
Yeah.
everything
Yep.
done by myself. But I'm being more like open and honest and vulnerable, like asking people for help, like family and friends, and it just gets you more like a stronger foundation.
And that's what they're there for, families and friends.
Right.
Yep.
They're there for you to be able to confide
To
in them,
help.
ask for help, and
Yeah.
be like, hey, I'm like struggling right now. Like, keep me uplifted. Like, what's up? Like,
Right.
you're in my inner circle for a reason.
Exactly.
And that's why we're here.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
To lift each other up and help each other.
And keep you
not-
grounded, or just to be like, get your shit together.
Okay, exactly. Exactly. Girl, you messed up. Like,
Yeah.
You should have known better.
Let you know exactly what you need to be doing in that moment.
And then the last thing is just like what we kind of already mentioned is that get up and get going. Like you created the action plan, get moving,
Yep.
and always keep moving forward.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
never like be stagnant.
Yep.
Like each day, there's only so many hours in the day. You always want to make the most of them and accomplishing what you want to accomplish.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing too. I went through clinical depression for 7 years, where I had so many days where I didn't want to get out of bed, and I was just like, we're not going to do this, like whatever. But it was literally me getting out of the bed and making my bed. That was the only thing I needed. Like you just getting up and moving and being like, okay, we in there. After my bed was made, I was like, okay, what else? We in
Right.
there. And after that, I was just like, yeah. Nope, we got stuff to do. So
Right.
what's gonna go? So Manjur is definitely right. Like definitely just get up and get going. Whether it's just make a pot of coffee, like maybe clean your bathroom, maybe wash your face. You know, change your clothes.
brush
Like
your
changing
teeth.
clothes for me is like the biggest thing. Like once
Yeah.
I am in my pajamas, if I change, take a shower, and change to normal people clothes, baby, I'll be all about business. They'd be like, what are we gonna do? I didn't get dressed for a reason. So, you know, just getting up and just getting dressed.
And that's physics, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like harder to make something go from a stop position instead of like once you're already going, it's easier to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep.
What is
It's
that, law of
physics.
inertia or
It's
something like
science.
that? Yeah.
Yep. The law of least effort. So once you get going, keep going.
Okay, for real. And
It's
talking
so right.
about science, Felly, what do you have for us in the health field?
Health
this
and
week?
wellness. So I saw this documentary called The Bleeding Edge. I'm hesitant about certain documentaries when you know that it's biased and like there's an agenda behind it. So I just do not like misinformation because as a nurse, I always strive to educate people and like make sure that they are health literate. And whenever there's a lot of misinformation, now I'm not discrediting the documentary. It actually has a lot of great takeaways, but it is very much leaning towards one medical device. So in essence, so I can summarize for you guys what the bleeding edge is. It is talking about the medical device industry and its and the corruption in the medical device industry. I don't want to take away from medical devices because they are important and they have contributed to the longevity of our lives. But there are things that happen that I want to shed light in the medical device industry that they just like, for example, what they mentioned there is the approval process. There's one called 510K, which is not very rigorous. And then there's another one called PMA, which is a little more rigorous, where they are doing research and figuring out whether a device is beneficial for the use that they're creating it for, right? So PMA is a better way to go as far as approval process. But even then, it's still not as rigorous as, say, for example, a pharmaceutical company administering a drug. They've got to go through way more hoops to get approved, which is crazy to say because, I mean, there's a lot of corruption there too. So the 501K process is how a majority of our medical devices are approved, and a 501K process is pretty much your grandfathering in approval of a device, because what they do is they're like, oh, well, this device was approved before. We just made a couple tweaks to that. It's doing essentially the same thing. Yeah, so they're kind of like grandfathering it in. And then what ends up
like no tests or like to make sure that it's
exactly no tests are done. So, and as I'm watching the documentary, I'm just like, wow, my mind is blown because I did not know this part of the health industry. And they would sell the doctors on it, and the doctors, they're busy being doctors. They're trying to take care of you. So they're so...
And they want the best method, so they're like, doctors, this is the best method, so do it.
Yeah, and so what they're doing is they're putting their trust in the companies that are trying to sell. So it's just this whole like dynamic. It's what it really calls to attention is calls to action for the doctors, the clinicians, and then people, the general public, like doing your research, ask questions of the doctor, say, and if you, especially if you feel like you're being marketed to, walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away. On the doctor side of it, making sure that you are looking at the data, and understanding how the FDA works and through which processes are these medical devices being approved. Because there have been situations like with, different joint replacements that the documentary sheds light on that, there's like metal on metal, like for example, hip replacements.
Yes.
And then like these, I think one of them was like had cobalt or something like that. People were getting early onset dementia because
They were getting cobalt poisoning.
They were getting cobalt poisoning. They were getting metal toxicity like in their system. And so this affects your brain, it affects other organs as well. And when they would go back in there, they would see that this thing is like disintegrated, like practically dissolved.
Like rusting, like inside of your body.
Not just rusting, it's just like mush.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And it's so surprising. And I was just like, wow. And they're just like sitting there just like approving all these things. And even in some cases, which is the main reason why they had this documentary, is they had this like mesh.
The hernia mesh?
It's not the hernia mesh. It's some kind of a mesh that they placed in women's bodies specifically in place of getting a hysterectomy.
Got you.
So then that way it's less invasive. But there was just so many problems and the women ended up, but it went through this whole FDA process of approval that they have for medical devices. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty heavy stuff and it's just do your research.
Definitely educate yourselves. What kind of resources
Educate
do people have
yourself.
out there that they could, if there's any kind of experimental treatment or whatnot, like what could they look up, or are there any resources for them to go up and like look at these things and be like, hey, like these are things we have like recalls on, or these are proven like effective treatments for such and such. Like how would I go about like learning more about something like that? Like if I was a woman and need hernia mesh or something like that.
So technically, the doctors and the manufacturers should be reporting defects to the FDA. So I would have to guide people towards the FDA website.
Got you.
So that they would know what's going on. But you know what? Even then, you still got to do a little bit more digging.
Yeah.
And always get a second opinion when it comes to major surgery.
In your body, absolutely.
And your body, and other, clinicians and other doctors always recommend you, like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable, get a second opinion. I'm more than happy to. Because it's a huge decision and a huge lifestyle change that's about to happen. And
medicine's expensive.
It is so expensive.
Yeah.
So expensive. Now, I believe and I trust in doctors. Everybody, that's, well, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people that go into the healthcare field go into it with altruistic intentions, wanting to help. Unfortunately, the way the system is set up,
It's always capitalism about making money. Yep.
Bottom line is sometimes it's the dollar.
Yep.
And so you got to look out for yourself, because
Like, would you say, like, if you feel like you're being marketed to, then walk away? What does that look like? If a doctor's trying to, like, market a product to you, I assume
usually people know when they're being sold. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they're just listing all the benefits and and they're not telling you very much about the negatives and really
side effects.
minimizing
Yeah.
things, then that's when you're just like, but going back to, trusting yourself.
If something doesn't feel right.
If it doesn't feel right, and I mean, hopefully you would trust your doctor and then they wouldn't be trying to do that. But most people know when they're being sold to. So I feel like if you trust that part of yourself, then you would know.
Yeah.
But that's what it would look like. It's just minimizing the negatives and really talking about all of the positive things, which is great. But you're just like, okay, but then how? You know when you're being sold to.
Ask questions, because usually if they have answers for it, they are
ask questions.
good. If they don't know answers,
Do your
they
research.
Don't do it.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's very important now, especially now we're going through this pandemic, like we're all doing different types of COVID testing. We're all getting different types of treatment and stuff for stuff. I wouldn't say we all, because I'm not, because I'm COVID free, but at the same time, like y'all out there doing like the most. But still, like you definitely need to ask your doctors about these different types of treatments that they're putting you on, the most effective measures and stuff that you can do, things to help your family and stuff, because sometimes, like she said, they're just there to market stuff. So definitely always know,
Yeah. Don't be too overly paranoid and suspicious. Just have a healthy, inquisitive mind.
Absolutely.
And dig deeper.
Never be afraid to ask questions about your own body.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Love it. Thanks, Felly.
Yeah. You're welcome, guys.
Slay.
So, Tyler, what do you have for us this episode?
Okay, so for, I guess, this segment right now, I guess we're going to talk about a little bit of, like baby black excellence and stuff, and people like me really making some moves stuff out there. Like, we've got a lot of things going on right now where African Americans are really in the forefront, and I'm all about it. Like, I love it. I think this is our kind of like our little renaissance where it comes to people really open their eyes, because part of my friends are white people feeling super guilty right now for some of the stuff they're doing, and we're really coming into like our awakening. Some of us are coming into our awakening. I need to get the other 50% of y'all need to get on board. But it's like amazing. Like, we have artists coming out. People don't have more time in the world to do whatever it is they want to do. So we have creatives just making cool TikToks and memes and whatnot, running for different government offices, out there really making like just some dope moves. So first and foremost, like we got Cori Bush, like super, super dope. Like love her absolutely. Like first African American Missouri Congresswoman?
Yes.
Ever?
Exactly.
Yes.
In Missouri?
Congratulations, Cori.
Slay Cori girl, slay Cori girl. I know that was tough because woo! We are very, very I wouldn't say small-minded, but we a little backwards in Missouri a little bit, you know. So for you coming up, and for you honestly like getting that, all I can say is just black girl magic. So definitely slay to you.
BGM.
Definitely say to you, and it couldn't also come at more of a perfect time because we all know at the end of last week, Beyonce just released Black is King for The Lion King.
Beyonce, yes.
Absolutely amazing.
Slay.
Like if you haven't seen Black is King, I want you to go literally stop what you're doing, like crash your car into somebody, literally pull your phone out
maybe not
and watch
crash
the
your
video.
car,
Like,
but-
yeah, definitely don't crash your car. But if you gotta crash your car, girl,
But-
crash it because it is literally life. She gives you literally everything from like fashion. She gives you just videography. She gives you cinematography. She gives you history about just who we are and where we came from. And it's just really uplifting because there are so many people of color. There's so many shades. There's like young, old, just different types of things that we really need right now to keep us uplifted.
Yeah.
And it was exactly the thing that I need to see to keep me super motivated because like I said, like the colors in it are absolutely amazing. The storyline behind it is absolutely amazing. And then you have to start researching stuff.
So
Right.
where do you find Black is King?
On Disney Plus.
For those that don't.
Yes, all you gotta do is go on Disney Plus because you know Beyonce, she controls all of pretty much everything. you can't find it on YouTube.
Who runs the
Right.
You
world,
can't get it on
girls?
Hulu. You can't. Beyonce got that. She got that shit on lock. So
Okay, I tried to find it on YouTube. They were like, nope.
she said no.
It ain't here.
Yeah. So
Try
definitely
again.
Past $6.95 for Disney Plus, honey.
Definitely Disney Plus, but it's worth the $6.95 you have to pay just
Yeah.
to watch it. So
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I felt very inspired by it as well because there's so many little things that are like black that like you didn't realize. Like I think one of the scenes they were on a couch and the couch had plastic on it.
Yes.
And, you know,
Yes, it was like, oh, if he was
you
like,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Grandma's
yeah.
couch was covered in plastic.
Uh-huh.
Like those little things, and just made me feel like, okay, that wasn't a bad thing. You know, that was part of my history, part of my upbringing, and it was like amplified on a level that it
course.
made me feel like, oh my goodness, like, and felt like just to love myself more.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
just like not feel like I'm, a minority.
Yeah, you know, they try to take a little bit of your essence away when it comes to stuff like that, and people don't understand the reason your grandma, my grandma, great grandma put plastic or plastic runners on the floor so they can preserve stuff, preserve the things we have because we came from nothing.
Right.
So if I pay this much money for
Exactly.
this couch, why would I not put this on something that I want to preserve?
Right.
You know, so it's more of a appreciation thing. It's not us being ghetto or us being
Right.
like we eat chicken on everything, so everything's gonna get greasy. We gotta put plastic
Right.
on. No.
Comes
no.
from preservation.
It's all from
because-
past traumas and just us learning stuff. So
Yep.
I love that. Like
Yep.
it also gives you a little bit of sense of like nostalgia, things
Exactly.
you can relate to. Like we all grew up with the same stuff. So her bringing that in there, slay Beyonce.
Okay.
Definitely here for it. So that was something definitely seen. Have you seen it, Felly?
I've only saw 8 minutes of it.
You gotta
I
see it,
saw
girl.
it. So look,
Yeah.
it was really late at night, and I just gotten home from working, doing some.
Of course.
Working.
We're
I'm
all
always
working. That's all we can
working.
do now is work.
Always working. So I sat down on a couch and I saw like the first 8 minutes of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm exhausted right now, and I want to completely and fully appreciate this. But the things that I did see, it was absolutely beautiful, and the imagery, and I could tell she's Virgo. Hey Virgos. We have that critical eye, and I could tell there was just so much attention to detail,
So much attention
but
to
also
detail.
looking at the bigger picture and how it all like fits together is just.
Yeah.
In the first 8 minutes, I was like, I appreciate this piece of art. I want to see the rest of it.
Yep.
I really fully appreciate it. So
I watched it
it's
twice.
on my to-do list.
Twice.
Of course you
In the
did.
same night.
Yeah, same night. Yeah, so me too. I was just like, okay, we're gonna
Oh
just
my
watch it
God.
first so we can get a come. Yeah.
Yo. And I'm a
really gonna
Beyonce
absorb
fan,
it.
but I think you might be more of a Beyonce fan than I am.
Probably.
I think so. Yes. So,
Yeah.
Like I call Little Manji, but Beyonce, baby. He be a Beyonce. He eats a whole Beyonce music video.
Okay.
slay.
But I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and I think it was something that just people of people of color just need it really now right now about community and about just history and about
Yep.
just us knowing like the dopeness and stuff we come from. You know, affluence, us knowing that we can make it. So, yep,
Right.
definitely about that.
Not just knowing, but also remembering because
That's where we came from.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Those are our roots.
Exactly.
Not slaves, not bondage, not chains, baby. We didn't come from that. We came from scholars and educators and pyramids.
In the
and
motherland.
Gold, yes.
In Africa.
Abundance.
Exactly.
So I love this. So those are like my two like super dope things this week. Like I loved it. I love seeing Corey Bush and I love seeing
Yes.
Beyonce slay. So
Yes.
always love seeing Beyonce slay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Goals.
Corey. Thanks, Beyonce,
Goals.
for inspiring us.
And keeping us uplifted in a time where we got old Chester Cheeto out there. So we gotta watch out. We gotta watch out.
Not that you called him Chester Cheeto.
Yeah, Chester Cheeto girl. That's his name.
That orange just gets everywhere. Just
Not on me. I'm unbothered. So, but yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay, so just wrapping it up. It was great hanging out with you guys, chatting about different stuff this week.
Yes.
This episode. And that is the fine print for today.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in.
We'll see you guys next time.
Love you.
Bye.